Crusader Kings 3 developers have been in the kitchen cooking, and they about to deliver us some heat on November 9th. Now don't worry, even if you're not gonna buy the Legacy of Persia flavor pack, they're still gonna bless us when it drops with a free update. Now what that free update comes with, I'm not entirely sure. It wasn't as crystal clear to me when I was reading the Dev Diaries, but I believe it's the house unity mechanic and the tax mechanic, which we'll get into. Their aim in reworking the clan government was to, quote, more closely represent the familial struggles of the powerful clans of the time and the bureaucratic apparatus that backed their interest. The clan government is now directly tied to how your house members interact with each other. Dev Diary 137 gives us a sneak peek into what that statement meant. House unity is a mechanic that puts, quote, a significantly larger emphasis on your house, end quote, and it's only for clan governments. House unity is measured on a scale of 0 to 200, representing the overall state of a house. It is divided up into 5 stages/levels, and this shows you the general attitude house members have towards each other. And the 5 levels are antagonistic, competitive, impassive, friendly, and harmonious. This is the lowest tier, the highest tier of unity. And each level has their own set of impactful rules and trade-offs. One example of this is being able to challenge the house head for their position. Oh snap. The higher the level of unity means the more internal stability you will have, along with friendly attitudes among house members. But the trade-off of this is it's more expensive to wage wars. Your casus bellis will become more expensive, nor can you use the invasion casus belli. And a low level of unity provides the opposite. Less stability, but more ability to wage war. They said, depending on your playstyle, you might enjoy a particular direction more than the other. So the important thing to keep in mind is that every level of unity directly affects the outcome of your succession. And every single level is a form of partition. So your titles will always be split to some extent. Now you can get a single realm heir like Promogenitor, but it will be more difficult and more expensive to do so. Now how you reach these various levels of unity to determine how many titles your primary heir will receive is by taking what's called divisive actions. Now to do things that will lower your house unity, you will go ahead and revoke house members' titles and imprison them. And to increase your house unity, you would do things like offer a reward or negotiate alliances with them. The house head enjoys a number of additional actions, which gives them greater degree of control in how they want to direct the unity of their own house, either towards harmonious or towards antagonistic. But this decision will cost piety. Every decision regarding your house members is going to cost you piety, and the reason why they did that is because it's generally harder to earn piety compared to prestige, so it makes you think a little bit more about how you want to spend it and where and at what time. Here's a quick glimpse of 2 actions that we could take, one for antagonistic and one for harmonious, but this is just one. As they say, there is far too many to list them all, and you see it's going to cost piety and the different benefits that come along with that. Now there are certain decisions you can take depending on the level of house unity. These specific decisions' effect is modified by how many landed members you have. The higher the number of landed members means taking that decision requires more piety. This is a decision for when your house unity is at level antagonistic. You can reinforce army with loyal officers, and that'll take place for 10 years. And you see it costs 460 piety because of the amount of members. 14 members times this effect gives you plus 28 bonus damage to your men-at-arms units. So that section covers what a clan actually represents and what does that mean for gameplay. Now let's go ahead and move on to how do you manage your vassals as a clan government. So how you manage your vassals now is mostly through a tax collector. This is who you pick to be in charge of a certain jurisdiction with its own tax decree. You must assign a tax collector if you wish to get your portion from your vassals. The screenshot from the devs show us that we could have 2 tax collectors, so that means 2 jurisdictions, each with its own tax decree. Now, you receiving your full due depends on the collector's aptitude, and a significant portion of it is directly tied to their opinion of you. So if they don't like you, they're going to skim some off the top to keep for themselves. Now, the aptitude of a collector depends on the level of all their skills, mostly on the learning one. A tax decree is essentially how you want your vassals to be taxed, changing the obligations and providing an assortment of additional benefits. The different tax decrees give you an opportunity to min-max. These three might be familiar to you, where you may have seen them under the feudal contract. They are there no longer, and they are now as tax decrees. And they say you sometimes may want to have a terrible tax collector, as it may benefit you greatly. For example, in this one right here, this tax decree, you're going to receive a negative 20% in the taxes multiplier and levies multiplier. But each vassal you get is going to bring you 1% men-at-arms damage. So you see, looking at the effects, negative 20% to both taxes and levies won't be very noticeable if your tax collector has terrible aptitude. Now, I guess that only applies to negative effects towards you and not the positive ones. Because if he negatively affected this negative multiplier towards you, I guess he doesn't equally negatively affect the positive buff towards you. So you can be strategic with that and go ahead and min-max depending on the tax decree. The house unity and the new tax system is what I believe comes with the free update, and we just covered that. Let's go ahead and get into what comes with the flavor pack most likely. Here we have the map of the game of the Iranian heritage cultures. Now, it's vastly populated with all kinds of different Iranian cultures, and they strive to give each one an original combination that allows for a variety of new play styles. They specifically gave the Persian culture special attention with these new traditions, such as the beacon of learning and irrigation experts, because of their famous scholarly pursuits. With the flavor pack, they also got some new clothes, some new swag, some headgear, some hairstyles, and some beards, which makes them more appropriately distinct from the Arabic cultures towards Arabia and the Levant. The Turkish culture also got some updates because of their importance in the region, which is going to grant the ability to equip them with the Sharbush hat and the very recognizable Seljuk braids. They also revamped the Islamic and Zoroastrianism. They also revamped the religion with Islam and Zoroastrianism. They updated the tenets and the doctrines for both faiths, giving them tweaks and adjustments. Both religions also received new decisions and events to flesh them out even more. And these two faiths are strongly tied to the new struggle system in the region. And this will bring us to the new struggle system, kind of similar to the fate of Iberia, but they said it doesn't take nearly as long. And as opposed to certain characters influencing the event, everybody does with the certain catalyst events. So the new struggle is the Iranian Intermezzo. It represents the historical dissolution of the caliphal authority over Persia and the ascension of new, powerful Iranian rulers in the 9th and 10th centuries. It also reflects a shorter historical period when compared to the fate of Iberia's struggle, so it is likely to be resolved more briefly and intensely. They say participant characters are clearly divided into factions. Each of these two factions are making moves to bring about their own desired outcome. So the two factions we have are the caliphal supporters and the detractors. There's going to be new interactions that are unlocked by this dynamic, such as convincing a character to switch over to your side, sponsoring Turkish invasions against the supporters, or waging war to install your own caliph. So this struggle has three phases: the unrest phase, the stabilization phase, and the concession phase. The concession phase is a new type of ending phase. If the struggle gets to the ending phase, it will instantly trigger an ending. So unlike the struggle ending decisions, where only a dominant character has to push the button to trigger it, every character is involved and can contribute to the ending phase by triggering relevant catalyst. So they designed 4 struggle possible endings, 3 as decisions and 1 as an ending phase, which can be pursued in different ways depending on the perspective of your character. And here they added a new time bookmark where you can play as 5 new characters, each with their own goals and for their campaign. Will you be the caliph to re-establish the power over the region? Will a powerful Shia ruler overtake the Sunni, creating a new caliphate? Maybe you'll be an Iranian ruler who will usher in an era of Persian dominance, forever boosting the cultures of Iranian heritage. Or a Sunni caliphate detractor might oust the caliph and take their place as head of faith. In the Iranian Intermezzo struggle, the endings are subdivided into options that have different effects according to your character's culture, religion, and whether they're part of the supporter or detractive faction. So this new time period, this new bookmark in age 67 is called the Persian Revival. It has 5 Iranian heritage characters to choose from, and they were picked because of their historical importance and to provide us a wide variety of gameplay styles. And I color coded them for you so you can know. This first character they have comes from the mountains of Deilam and is a fan favorite. Rostam Banvidid is one of the last Sassanids in the game and a secret Zoroastrian. Shh. And he's a great character if you're going for a Sassanian restoration playthrough. And here in the orange down south, we have Muhammad of the Tarihids, and he's a loyal vassal and supporter of the caliphate. His nephew, though, rules an independent emirate, Khorasan, and is desperate for help against the invading Saffarids. This character was a great pick for us since he's split between internal and external conflicts in the caliphate. So this can be a very interesting campaign. And down here we have in the little teal kind of blue, we have Yaqub, the coppersmith. He was a lowly peasant who rose to power through extraordinary military prowess. In one of his battles, he was sword-struck and horribly disfigured with his, that's why he has the mask. But despite all these difficulties, this upstart is pushing back against the might of the Abbasids. And he was an obvious choice for us since he is an interesting historical figure, sort of a folk hero in the Iranian traditions because he restored the Persian language as the official dialect in this region. And he has a medium rating difficulty. So next, we have for the achievement hunters, Suri of the Ghurids, right here, bordering Yaqub with a smaller territory. And although historically Suri is mostly known for running away from the Saffarids and hiding at his buddy Abdullah Habiri's court, his dynasty eventually grew into a huge empire, being Tariq and Marahayana. He's stuck between the Muslim and the Buddhist world, which creates opportunities for interesting gameplay. There's also a lot of juicy mines in the region that Suri can go claim and fuel for his future conquest. Good luck to all the players out there going for the Rise of the Ghurids achievement. And last but not least, we have up top in the north, Ismaili of the Samanids. Despite being distant in the line of succession, historically, Ismail came to supplant all of his relatives and assume control of his brother's emirate. The Samarids under Ismail grew into a true empire, only to be overtaken later by the Ghaznavids and the Seljuks. An interpretation of Ismail's likeness can now be seen stamped on the Tajikistani currency, the Somoni, which is named after his dynasty. So we have 2 hard campaigns, 2 medium campaigns, and 1 easy campaign. I think my first campaign in Legacy of Persia would be Rostam Banvidid, see if we could preserve the Sassanid line, and maybe even get a Zoroastrian takeover with this Sassanian restoration. What about y'all? What campaign would y'all go ahead and play first? Let me know in the comments. And that's the flavor pack for the Legacy of Persia, which drops on November 9th. And remember, even if you're not gonna buy the Legacy pack, they're still gonna bless you with a free update. I hope y'all enjoyed. If you did, go ahead and hit that like button for me. Appreciate y'all. Peace.